I have um I have two live streams going right now. I have YouTube. How's everybody doing? Hey, say hi to YouTube, Instagram, and then I have Instagram over here. So Instagram, say hi to YouTube. All right, everybody's acquainted. We're all commingling. We're all having a great time, right? All right. So I'm gonna have to remember to look at both cameras. But either way, I have an itinerary here today because I want to make sure I stay organized. I always say that, but then I go off the itinerary because I do what I want to do. I do my own stunts, you know. Sorry about the lighting if it's not to taste. Shit, I accidentally closed out YouTube. It's still going. Good, good. Okay. Um, Here's the itinerary. So, what am I starting out with? I just got this Samsung Galaxy A15, by the way, and this phone is amazing, but it's also very slow. A recap of Gemini, the thematic underpinnings of Gemini, its correlations to what my real life experiences have been, its correlations to the quarter life crisis that I've been experiencing, and just all the different pressures that I've been under, the dualities of my life at this stage, which includes a lot of disillusionment, but also enlightenment and transcendence. Really, kind of getting to know them, getting to know the discomforts of adulthood, getting to know the discomforts of Matthew up close and personal, which has been what this album has thematically been about. Um, I started out making this album. I think I've said this plenty of times, but I started out making this album with a very clear intention in mind. It's supposed to be about the quarter life crisis. It's meant to offer a sense of solace to my listeners, et cetera, which I've mentioned in the previous live streams. But recently, especially in the past few weeks, I've really just had to take a step back and let my intuition guide the way because there have been a lot of financial hardships that I've been facing recently, um, as it pertains to getting this album together, and in terms of just staying focused and staying motivated to put together the best work that I can. It's been very difficult. Um, I'm on summer break right now. I just finished school, my fall semester, I'm sorry, my spring semester, and I thought I failed two classes, but I failed one class. So that's good, right? That's great. I didn't fail both. I failed one, and sometimes that's what you have to take in stride is that you failed one class, sorry, that you failed one class instead of two, and yes, you still have to retake that. Yes, you still have to retake that class, but at the same time, you passed one of them when you didn't think you did. That's a blessing. Not everybody gets that opportunity. Some people fail and they just continue to fail. For me, it's more I was a B student up until I got to Cal State Fullerton and then I failed. And then I kind of stumbled again this past semester, but that's not the end of the story. I'm about to come harder in the fall semester because this is my final year. I'm about to come hard for my senior year. I can't wait for graduation. I'm looking forward to that. However, there have been financial hardships in the midst of all of that. As soon as school ended, I thought that I would be able to get back to work, get my money up, et cetera, get the first single out. Yeah, get the first single out. But life happened. Life be lifing. Just as a, yeah, sorry, just as an example of that, this past week I went to Lake Tahoe. Just as an example of dualities. This trip to Tahoe I've been looking forward to. It was originally, if you guys remember, it was a trip to Cabo. But what did I say? Life be lifing. So the trip to Cabo didn't pan out, and we had to cancel our airplane tickets, which we were bummed about. We didn't get a chance to, go to Cabo for me for the first time. For him, the second or third time. He's been out of the country plenty of times. He's been on this cruise, that flight. But for me, like, it would have been my first time, like, really spending some time in Mexico to this degree. So I was really bummed out about that. Hopefully, I get to spend some time in Cabo or Mexico City, where I know I have a fan base. That's why I say Mexico City in the coming years. But I didn't get to go to Cabo this past summer, but I did get to go to Lake Tahoe for my early summer trip. That's what I call it. I call it the late summer, or sorry, late spring, early summer trip, because I'm definitely going on a late summer trip to make up for this one. And it's not that the trip was bad because y'all, Lake Tahoe is the shit. I'm talking about you driving on these roads and you might literally slide off the road into oncoming traffic, off a cliff. Yeah, I was riding bird scooter down Highway 50. Ah, there's a main highway that goes through Lake Tahoe, and I think it's called. I think it's called Highway 50. Either way, everybody who's traveling through the city or the area of South Lake Tahoe has to go down this one highway. So it's like there's like three lanes going this way, three lanes going that way. So yeah, there's a little bike lane. It's like this size. And so yeah, I was in the bike lane and I almost got hit by a suburban. Yeah, yeah. It wasn't. He was a nice guy, so I forgave him. It is what it is. Shit happens, right? But either way, it doesn't matter. You get what I'm saying? The trees, the forest, the of it all, the of it all. Like Lake Tahoe is peaceful. There are trees as far as the eye can see. Them motherfuckers is tall. The motherfuckers is like what is the word I'm even looking for? Like fucking celestial shit. Like I just felt so wrapped in nature and in green and in like the air was so clean up there. Bitcoin was up when I was out there, so things were up, right? They had electric scooters, they had the bird scooters and the lime scooters, and I got to ride on a lime scooter. Almost busted my ass like 6 times. Almost got hit by 3 cars, but I had a great time, and that's what's important. The dispensaries out there were just what I thought they would be. You understand what I'm saying? Hey, Emer, this is my YouTube audience. Shout out to Emer. Hey, yeah, I got to try me some cannabis while I was out there. I didn't get like the things I would have that I was planning to get because the finances were not where they should have been. As you guys can kind of tell, I had a great time in Lake Tahoe, but I would have had a better time had the finances been together. You know what I'm saying? Because the Cabo trip got canceled, I was so hell bent on making sure that I had the trip that a trip exactly at the time that was scheduled for Cabo. I was so focused on that I didn't really think, hey, bro, get your finances together. You're putting together an album. The album is not going to be done like you thought it was by the time you go on this trip. So you need to make sure that you're making sure you're stacking your money. And I did try to stack my money. It's just that when you're doing gig work and when you have freelance work, oftentimes I'm sure you guys can relate. There's often a lot of ups and downs, and it just so happened that my trip to Lake Tahoe timed at the down of life, right? So I still tried to make the best of it. There was a lot of time spent in the hotel room, a lot of using the hotel's amenities and stuff like that, and a lot of walking and using the bird scooters or the lime scooters just to really kind of get in touch with Lake Tahoe and just kind of explore it a bit. On one of the days, I spent a while driving from Lake Tahoe to Reno, which is maybe like an hour or so away. It sounds like it's like Reno, Lake Tahoe, two different vibes. Yes, and I was not aware of that until I got to Reno. I don't want to talk too much shit. I don't want to be too rude. It's just that Reno and Lake Tahoe are two different vibes. One is giving you peaceful nature, cannabis dispensaries as far as the eye can see. You know, unreasonably priced food, unreasonably priced lodging, but still a vibe. Ashley Miller, um, my social life has been going pretty good. I mean, my circle hasn't really expanded too much. I still have my best friend Elizabeth and my close friend from high school, Monica, who I talk to pretty much every week. And I also have some of my collaborators who I speak to pretty much weekly, as well as my romantic partner and my parents. And so yeah, I guess I do have quite an active social life. But sorry guys. I want to get to these questions. I'm gonna get to. I have two really important questions to answer here about do I prefer Kendrick or Drake, and also from Ashley Miller about what do I enjoy most out of life. But I want to finish my itinerary and telling the story of what's been happening pertains to the production of the album before I get to that. But I will answer those two questions if you guys can just hold on. I still made the best of it with my partner, and we even had a few arguments. You know, sometimes finances, I don't know if you guys had this experience, but in personal relationships, sometimes finances can cause needless arguments, petty arguments that aren't really based on anything. We got on each other while we were out there, but I love that because when we have those experiences, I have to show my maturity, he has to show his maturity, and we have to come and communicate with each other to make sure that we're good. Because I'm not good if he's not good, and he's not good if I'm not good. So I feel like we came out, as a result of that vacation, way stronger. And I mean, that's life. That's what happens. Yes, you should be able to go on vacation and everything be perfect, but I feel like it's very common that that's not the experience. Not only that, it wasn't even about, the negatives of that experience. Like I was saying, I got to go to cannabis dispensaries. I got to walk in temperate weather where it wasn't fucking hot. I got to say hello to some weird people. I got to say hello to some not weird people, right? I got to say, peace to some Nevadans and peace to some Tahoeans, whatever you call people from Tahoe. And yeah, I just had a great time. And not to mention, I finished the master for the first single. The master for the first single, called Atlas, is done. I even have the master for a few more of the songs from the album complete. So I feel confident saying that the album is 75. It was actually in the midst of the darkest times during the trip where like the money wasn't really hitting, or where like the vibes of me and my partner weren't really where either of us would have wanted them to be, was kind of when the sharpest inspiration for the music came about. And I'm sure a lot of you can relate when you're going through turmoil, when you're going through a hard time. Why is it that the art comes through? And why is it that the art hits, especially in those moments? I don't know. But that's what happened. Me too, Emer. I'm gonna get to your question about Kendrick and Drake, but just to give you a preview, yes, I agree with you. Um, so that was pretty much my trip. Oh, hey, Peter. So without further ado, what I wanted to do here was play a preview of my upcoming song called Atlas. That's the name of the first single. It's Atlas. I made this single after I failed my first class at Cal State Fullerton for the fall of 2023 semester. I think it was business analytics. Um, really down on myself for probably a couple hours because I had to hop on the portal and make sure I registered for whatever, I made sure I registered that class the next semester so that I could retake it. But up until that point, I hadn't failed a class in college for the past 6 years. So it was like a shock to the system. I knew that I hadn't performed as well as I could have that semester, and I knew that I had been somewhat distracted by, the happenings in my life. But I didn't see a failure coming, especially a D, so which is so close to passing. But either way, I produced this song when I was at that low point, when my finances weren't the best and my schoolwork wasn't the best the first time. This is the second time that things are kind of like that. This past semester didn't go so good, but the first semester where this trend seemed to occur was in the fall of 2023. And I just needed a song that made me feel a little bit of consolation, and that's when I made Atlas. So I'm gonna play that for you guys here. Um, Sometimes the song could bring me to tears. I'm gonna let it go into the chorus, I think. Hey, yeah. Okay, that's enough. That's enough. That's enough. So it's a fucking jam, y'all. I get excited every time I fucking hear that shit.